Right. So the next thing, all right. So adapting as a creative during COVID-19. So brought, I decided to include this because I know a lot of people are worried about COVID-19 and what the world will look like after COVID-19 if this thing ever ends, right? And our immediate problems, of course, are the what you call it, worrying about where will we get money and how will we get jobs. Because in times like these, people tend to focus on the essentials, right? Things like animation and graphic design and web design will tend to take a backseat, or at least at first. So how do we navigate this space? And what I want to do is I want to take it from two angles. One angle is going to basically be with regards to your skills, right? What should you be doing where your skills are concerned? Now we have 6 tips where that is concerned. And we're going to also be talking about alternatives. Alternatives meaning, what if you still just can't find work within your skill set? What should you be doing? Right. So the first thing, and I'm going to stop sharing screen after I read this out because I have some detailed notes I have to go find. But the first thing is we want to learn new skills, right? We want to show off new skills. That's the second one. We want to network our skills, collaborate with our skills, package our skills, and sell your skills, right? So start with the first one, learn new skills. Right now, because we have so much downtime, now is a perfect time to learn something new. So if you don't know how to animate and you want to learn how to animate, now is a great time to do that. Not only are there a plethora of YouTube videos, but some animation masters like Aaron Blaze has essentially offered his animation video tutorials for free. Right? You can go to aaronblaze.com, I believe it is, or just Google Aaron Blaze, and you'll be able to find it. And he's giving that away free because, it's COVID-19. He knows that there are people at home who, have nothing to do and probably need to raise their level of skill to start earning. So I would check him out. Aaron Blaze is the animator who worked on Tarzan and many other animal-based Disney movies. Right? He's the master when it comes to animating animals. So check that out. There are universities offering free courses. There are animation books being given away for free. So now is a great time to learn new skills. If you're not an animator and you're an illustrator and maybe you're struggling with color or you're struggling with anatomy, now is the perfect time to learn that sort of skill. If you want to pick up After Effects, there are so many tools out there now, both free and paid, that it would be a good idea to learn these skills just to up what you can offer. After Effects, if you've always wanted to learn After Effects so you can do special effects in your animation or do motion graphics, now is a great time to learn After Effects. You have alternatives like Hit Film. There are other cheaper packages out there. There is Photoshop. If you don't know how to use Photoshop and you want to learn, or Illustrator, now is a great time. Give yourself a task every day to do, or even focus on one task for the entire week. If you decide, okay, I want to focus on coloring my characters to make them look more realistic, and you want to give yourself a week to do that, do it. Give yourself some time, 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, 15 minutes a day, even whatever you can afford. Don't waste the time, because learning new skills might be the difference between someone choosing you for work and choosing somebody else, right? Yes, we always hear that we need to specialize, and yes, specializing is definitely important, especially the bigger the organization, right? But the smaller the organization is, and the smallest organization is an organization of one, you have to learn more skills. So that's the first thing. The second one, showing off new skills. So now that you've learned something new, you've learned some visual effects, or you've learned to draw better, or you've learned to animate, people need to know that you can do it, right? We have taken on a career or a field or a discipline where resumes don't matter as much as it would if you were an accountant or if you were, I don't know, a lawyer or something like that. What really sells us is our portfolio. Right? Portfolios are very important. And Coretta mentioned ArtStation earlier. ArtStation is available to everybody for free. So you can create your profile on ArtStation. You can start uploading your work. And one of the key things that I always say to people is somebody's microphone is distracting. There's some noise in somebody's background.
That would be me. One moment.
Yeah, right. Right. So the portfolio is very, very important, right? The portfolio is your resume. It shows what you can do. And one of the things that I always advise people is don't worry about what your artwork looks like right now. Do your best with your artwork, upload it to ArtStation. As you get better, take the bad stuff down and put, the new better stuff up. Always evolve your portfolio. Don't let your portfolio stay stagnant, because the fact is, what is good for you today may not be good tomorrow. I'm sure you guys have probably seen videos where an artist redraws something that he did 5 years ago. And when you see the remarkable difference, you realize how much they've improved. You have to treat your portfolio like a living organism, whereas, like kind of like a snake, right? When the skin gets old, shed the old skin and bring out the new, right? So don't underestimate a portfolio. Instagram is not a portfolio. Yes, definitely use Instagram because people do search people's Instagram. And when you are, this is a big tip, which kind of melds into networking. When you are, and I'll just jump right into networking, it just makes sense. When you're networking, most of us think of networking as face to face interaction. But it doesn't have to be, especially now during COVID-19. You want to look at the fact that you have Twitter, you have Instagram, you have Facebook, you have LinkedIn, right? These are very, very powerful social networks. Like Chevy said, find the artists that you admire, find artists who are actually doing, production work. And when I say production work, I'm not only speaking to animation, because there are some of you who you don't necessarily want to work in animation, right? Whether or not all you're going to be doing is illustrating, maybe that's not what you want to do. Maybe you want to work in comics. Follow comic book artists if that is the case. If you're working in games, follow game design artists, right? Game design character artists. Follow them, and follow them with your Instagram page that has your artwork on it. Let me just make one clear distinction. The Instagram page with your artwork is not supposed to be your personal page where you're eating ice cream with your friends and you're hugging up your dog. No, have a separate Instagram that is just your work, so that when you're following these people, they'll be inclined to follow you back, because they will realize, oh, you are an artist as well, right? Instagram or social media in general is not just about putting up fancy pictures and just leaving it there and hoping people see your work. You have to network, right? One of the strategies that I use a lot is, when I see an artist that I like, I don't only like their picture, I also comment on their picture. And when you comment on someone's picture, a lot of times they respond, and usually they follow you back. And that's very good, because if you have a good portfolio and they see that you have a good portfolio and they need your skill set, they will reach out to you and say, hey, I need an artist to do this for me. And I like your work, etc. I know of at least two Jamaican artists who have received work like that. They're just sharing stuff on Instagram, and somebody reaches out to them and says, hey, I need an artist to do X. I need a character designer to do Y. So don't, yeah.
No, just wanted to touch on the point that David pointed out about collaborating on portfolio pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, you work in the animation industry. Collaboration is the name of the game. For any project over a certain size, you are going to be collaborating with someone. The only thing I have to say on that particular note is, when you are collaborating, make sure that there's a clear indication of what you did on the project. If you
Right.
just
Great
put your
point.
name If you're just putting your names like by X, Y, and Z, we don't know who did what or was in charge of what.
Yeah. And before I get to collaborating, I just want to make another point about networking. And networking is something that I could go on and on forever about because there's, so many little intricacies to it. But there's just one basic rule is that you have to tell people what you do, right? My first animation job, how did I get it? Was simply because I was always doing number two, showing off new skills. Because how I approached animation was that I was looking at all of the different things that are required of an animator to know. And every time I had time, I said, okay, I don't know how to do a walk cycle. Let me practice doing a walk cycle. And when I was satisfied with it, I would upload it. If I improve that walk cycle, I'd upload it again. If I decided, hey, I want to learn how to do a jump, or I want to animate a guy running up to a basketball hoop and dunking, I would upload it, not realizing that people were looking at this stuff. And eventually somebody reached out to me and said, hey, somebody needs an animator. Here's their information, contact them. And that led to my first animation job. And it's led to character design jobs, it's led to graphic design jobs, it's led to a lot of other things. So where networking is concerned, you need to tell people what you do, and that comes in many forms. So, for example, LinkedIn, I would definitely join LinkedIn as an artist. Don't think LinkedIn is just for business people, because business people are looking for artists as well. But this tip goes towards all social media platforms, but especially LinkedIn. Keep it as professional as possible. So if you have a LinkedIn account and you have not yet filled out your profile, I would take a good look at filling out your profile. And if you're not sure how to fill out your profile, then there are lots of tutorials on YouTube about how you should structure your profile. And I mean, every aspect of your profile is important, from the description of yourself and what you do to all of your accomplishments. And don't underestimate your accomplishments. Some people, they'll ignore it and go, oh, well, this accomplishment wasn't a big deal, so I won't mention it. Mention it same way, because you don't know who it will be a big deal to. Get
And
endorsements from other persons. Yeah, go ahead.
oh no, Jay just said it. I was going to say, you might say LinkedIn is just for business
Oh,
people, but
okay.
if you're a freelance artist, you are a business. You are your business. You're not a hobby artist. You need to think of yourself as a business because you're focused on getting jobs
Exactly.
and so you're no longer, this is no longer a hobby that
Especially
you're
now,
doing. Yeah,
right?
especially now when
Especially now,
the
right?
field, understand my prediction, and you guys can quote me on this after COVID-19. My prediction is that after this pandemic passes, there will be a significant increase in the number of people in the field of entrepreneurship and freelancing.
Yep,
I
yep.
am
Because
willing to bet money on that, that there will be a
yeah,
significant increase in the
mhm,
number of freelancers, which means as someone who is doing freelancing now, a field that is already hyper competitive is about to get more so.
yes. And
Um,
what we
I
have
mean,
to
can I add
realize.
something?
Go ahead.
I'm a big proposer, supporter of us looking at ourselves as a business. I have my own business. That's what I do. So there's things, and I'm a part of associations as well that deal with small businesses, entrepreneurs, stuff like that. And I'd advise you going forward, you guys definitely do need to look into making sure that apart from having a social space, you need to have something like either a profile. There are lots of free options, there are lots of paid options. It's usually a little bit better and cleaner when you have a website with your information completely there. Google has Google Business. You can set that up at free. There are different ways in which you can push your information, but I definitely support the fact that you guys need to see yourself as a business. Whether or not you have a client right now, or whether or not you feel you're able to, you don't feel that you have enough skills, put yourself out there as a business. So that means they need a business. What a business have? Business have a space where that someone can contact you. So have your contact details up. Have a web page or a website or a Google business. Have that up. Have a business card. Have a create a 2-line or a 3-line introduction statement for yourself, right? Start creating your bios, support creating your resumes, have something up. So as soon as someone says, "Hey, who are you?" you have something that you can easily copy and paste and drop and give them. Right? So
Yeah.
stop putting
Ex-
yourself comparing yourself like that as a freelancer. No, because as Shireen said, going forward, realize that all of your friends who have 9 to 5, or even you who might have a 9 to 5, is now being told to start a yeah. Going forward, there's going to be a lot of that happening because people are going to now realizing that, hey, I really never needed this all day 9 to 5 thing in a building. I can actually work from home, and there's a huge amount of platforms available that you could even do for yourself, like Fiverr, freelancer. Don't discredit those things. Don't think that you don't want to be bidding for other things. That those are ways in which you can start building your clientele. Someone who just wants something quick
right.
and cheap, just keep using that and build up your clientele and build
Yeah.
up your skills and build up a portfolio so that you can start having things to show.
Right.
Yeah.
And with that said, one of the things that we're going to be doing is having a webinar on, how to basically make yourself a business, right? Um, because there are lots of confusion when it comes to things like contracts, registering IP, invoicing your clients. That is a very
Mhm.
key thing. Like a lot of people think, like I've seen it many times where the client asks for invoice and the artist just sends them a total and they're like, no, I need an invoice with this on it, that on it, this on it. And you need to have a standard template so you can push out your invoices quickly. You can't be taking 2 days to come up with an invoice. People get confused about how to price. So we're going to target all of that in a future webinar because yeah, it can get overwhelming. A lot of people get confused about how to price, how to invoice, how to negotiate contracts, etc. But it's key what Janelle said is that you must think of yourself as a business and let me put it this way. Even if you're not a business right now or you don't think of yourself as a business, there's a term that I really like, which is fake it till you make it, right?
Mhm.
And why I'm bringing that term up, I'm not saying to you that you must be an imposter. What I'm saying to you is that right now, if you are thinking to yourself, boy, I need to make consistent money with my skill, you have to treat yourself with the same respect that you treat a 9 to 5, right? Yes, when you work for yourself, you get to set your own hours, but don't make setting your own hours be, oh, I'll work whenever I feel like, or oh yeah, I'll get up at 12 p.m. and work for 15 minutes, then go watch some My Hero Academia, then go play football with my friend, them come in at 6, do another 15 minutes or an hour, or don't do it like that. Like take yourself seriously as a business and say, yo, these are my business hours, right? Even if your
And
business hours
inform
is
other people of this.
right,
Inform
inform other
other
people of
people of
this.
this.
Yeah, don't make people contact you midnight just because them know say you're up at midnight and whatever, right? Unless it's of course emergency and you want to be flexible. But you have to understand that, trust me when I tell you, say you will bend over backwards for clients and work till midnight. And then when time come for collect your money and 4:30 come and you say, hey, can I come get my check? And them say, boy, me I pack up now, so you have to go wait till they respect their time. So you have to respect your time. Right? You have to treat yourself like a business. You have to look on your social presence and say, am I presenting myself as a business? What does my profile picture say about me? And your profile picture doesn't have to be you in a three-piece suit. It can be a caricature of yourself. It can be you in, something stylish, but nothing offensive, nothing, outlandish. But you can have your own brand, but take a professional photo, not a dark photo with your, you know, improper lighting and we can barely look on your face and all of that. Take professional photos so that when you're networking with people, you look more trustworthy. I know it sounds away, but people do judge by what they see, right? And if they look at you and you look professional and they look at your profile on LinkedIn or Instagram or wherever they go, oh wow, I see this person's artwork. It's yeah, this person is somebody I might want to work with. So next thing now is collaborate with your skills. Now collaboration is great for many reasons, right? And collaboration can take many forms. If you're an artist, maybe you have a friend who's working on a comic, or you have a friend who's just working on some characters to flesh out an idea, or an animation, whatever the case is. Don't be afraid to offer help, or hopefully they're hiring, but if they're not hiring, don't be afraid to offer help so that you can piggyback off of their success, whatever that success looks like. And here's why I say that because if you help someone else out, you're working on on a comic, for example, and you have to kind of learn their style and adapt their style and help them. Or maybe you can't match their style and you say, all right, I'll do the backgrounds, you do the characters, or I'll just do the coloring, whatever the case is. What ends up happening is that you build a relationship with somebody who is working, right? Or even if that person isn't working, you're building a relationship with somebody who is taking their skills seriously. And they become one of your referrals, right? When someone approaches them and says, hey, I need an artist who can do backgrounds, and they've worked with you in the past, you're the first person they're going to think of, right? So collaboration really helps in that sense. Also, if they're producing a comic and they put that comic out and your name is in there, your name gets some exposure. It can sometimes be difficult for you to get exposure on your own because there's so many people out there doing what you do, that when you collaborate with somebody that everyone else knows, it propels your image a little bit more, right? And on top of it, you get to learn from them, um, as well as just the fact that when they get jobs, trust me, I've seen this many times before. If somebody likes the way you work and like what you do, they might never ever explore anybody else after that. They're just going to always call you when they need visual effects because they're like, yo, this guy did visual effects for me in the past and it's awesome. So I'm always going to use them. I know, like, for example, Coretta Singer, she's the first person a lot of people call when it comes to certain things because they worked with her before, they know the quality she puts out, they know her work ethic, and they have no problems calling her over and over and over. If somebody recommends somebody new, they're going to be a little hesitant to take on somebody new because you don't know what you're getting. Right? So when you collaborate, it is a form of networking, but it's a more strategic form of networking where you're actually working with somebody, building a relationship, and essentially establishing a certain amount of credibility. So don't underestimate the power of collaborating. It's one of, I don't know if you guys have heard of Frederator, but it's one of the methods recommended by Frederator to grow your YouTube channels, collaborating with other YouTubers. Because if I have 5,000 followers and Janelle has 40,000 followers, if I collaborate with her, automatically those 40 followers start checking me out, and then I might gain another 10,000 followers, and then I go and collaborate with Shireen might have 100,000 followers. Her followers are going to check me out, and then I'll gain more followers, right? Because it's almost like how can I put it, it's almost like Janelle and Shireen are endorsing me, and since they're endorsing me, their fans trust me just by extension. That's what collaboration does. It's like a pass. I don't know you, but then Shireen comes to me and says, "Yo, work with Janelle," and I go, "Okay, well if Shireen recommends Janelle, then it just makes sense that I'll just work with her," as opposed to if Janelle comes straight to me and say, "Hey, I know you don't know me, but I think we should work together." I'll be like, "I don't know you, so nah, not gonna work. Sorry." So that's how you need to think of collaboration. Um, Fifth point, package your skills. So with package skills, what I mean is very simple. Meaning you have a wide range of skills, and a lot of times people ask us, "Yo, what's your price? What's your rate?" And we don't know what to tell them. Now, in some cases, it's very difficult to give people a rate because it depends on what they want, right? If you don't know exactly what they want, it's hard for you to price. But there's some things that are standard, and you should aim to package those things. One of the things that I see a lot of artists do, and it's very clever in my opinion, is if they are an illustrator and let's say they draw characters or even caricatures of persons, they will price based on how much they have to draw. Meaning, if I'm just drawing a head, it's 10 or let's say 20 US. If I'm drawing a bust, which is head and shoulders, then it's 25 US. If I'm drawing from the waist up, it's 30 US. If I'm drawing the full body, it's 40 US, right? And reason being is that there are some cases where people just want to come to your website and they just want to see, what can I get for my money? Okay, I love this person's artwork. I want to get a bust done. How much does that cost? So instead of them having to email you and say, hey, how much does this cost? And maybe you're not watching your email for a day or two, which shouldn't be the case. You should check your email every day just in case you're getting a job. But let's say it miss you, right? The person might say, all right, this person not responding, and then they move on to somebody else. So, try as best as possible to package your skills because it makes it easier for people to to buy from you, right? If I look on somebody and I say, boy, this person, I want him to do a webinar for me, I want to know how much they charge. You know, there's a very nerve-wracking point when you ask somebody for the price and you're waiting for the price to be read out and you're like going, boy, I hope it's not too expensive. I hope it's not too expensive. Versus when you just go on the website and you go, oh, they charge X. All right, cool. Or sometimes you might see the charge and you might say, boy, it's exorbitant, but I really think this person is worth it. So I'm going to go and try and find the money because, yeah, I need this person's style, right?
It
So,
also helps to cut down on that. I'm sure a lot of you have experienced it as freelancers where your client goes, you give them a price and then they're like, that's too expensive, and they try to talk you down. If you have your price set up and it's public already, then it cuts down on a lot of that because they came into the situation knowing what your price is.
right, exactly, exactly. And that's that. It goes back to treating yourself like a business. I find that when you treat yourself like a business, people treat you like a business. So when you don't have, package prices, and you can always have your package prices like, okay, basic package, XYZ, intermediate package, ABC, advanced package, and then you have custom package that has no price. And custom just basically means if what you want doesn't fit into these packages, call me and we can talk about it. Right? So I'm not telling you to completely eradicate pricing based on job, still price based on the job if it doesn't fit into one of your packages. Right? But like Shireen said, it kind of just establishes some ground rules to say, yeah, this is a line in the sand. Right? So people second guess trying to take liberty with you. And the last point is about selling your skills. So some of you might say it's not the same thing as showing off new skills. No. So showing off new skills is basically anytime you've done something new, you put it out there, right? So if you decided, I've never done a fight scene before, let me do a fight scene, and then I'm going to upload it and see how people respond to it. That's showing off your work, right? Or you win an award and you put it on your website. That's showing off your work. Selling your skills is completely different now. It's almost a mixture of showing off and networking, but goes further than that. Essentially, with selling your skills, it is also about creating a brand for yourself. So don't just create your web page and create your social media and then go, okay, I hope people find me now. And let me message two people online and hope people find me. No, you need to come up with sales strategies for yourself. You need to come up with ways where every time you leave your house, if you ever get to leave your house after COVID-19, you dress a specific way. Don't say to yourself, say, boy, at the supermarket, me I go in, so I just wear my shorts and my slippers and pick up 2 milk and come home and yeah, right? Now put a little effort into how you dress simply because you never know who you're going to meet. And if they see you in shorts and slippers, they're going to say, oh, this is a person down with no money. I can hustle them, right? Sell yourself in how you look and sell yourself in how you talk. Sell yourself in the stories that you print about yourself. So don't just go, oh, I am a 2D illustrator and I draw characters. No, get into a little bit more story than that. You need to sell yourself because people like people. People don't necessarily hire you just because of your skill, because especially in the illustrative world, there are a lot of skilled people. Like Jamaica has a lot of skilled artists, right? So skill alone is not going to get you hired. People also need to like you. So you need to sell yourself. You need to have a general story that follows you, right? If you want people to look at you a certain way and want them to have a certain impression of who you are, figure out what your story is. I like, for example, I'm going to just use Coretta as an example. She markets herself as a 3D modeler and generalist. She puts 3D modeler first because she really loves doing 3D models and she's very good at it. And that's pretty much what she really wants to focus on. However, she does do other things, so she tags that at the end, right? So that essentially when you hear her talk about herself, oh, she's a 3D modeler. Yes, I know she can do other stuff, but that's her focus. As opposed to just saying, yeah, I'm an animator. Because what is going to happen to you is if you say, yeah, I'm an animator, and you're just a 2D animator, somebody may come to you and say, I need a 3D animation. And you go, oh, well, I don't do that, right? You have to sell yourself properly, right? So selling yourself is pretty much amalgamating all 1 to 5, and how you project that, right? When you're talking to somebody in the line, like one of the things I always say to people who ask, how do you start a conversation and put into that conversation what you do? First advice is don't just run up to people and go, hi, I'm an animator. You want to hire me? No, that's going to be very annoying and people will walk away from you. But one of the things that you can do is strike up a conversation, ask the person who they are, ask them what they do. And then when they tell you what they do, then you in turn tell them what you do. 9 times out of 10, people are going to be like, oh, wait, you're an animator? Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know we had animators in Jamaica. I need to talk to you about something. Or you could say, oh, I'm an illustrator. I do illustrations for XYZ. And, you know, make the conversation go organic from there. It's a part of selling yourself. Don't just meet people and not say what you do, right? You're always selling. I don't know if anybody else has any points where that is concerned.
I do.
Go ahead.
You first.
Right. Regarding selling yourself, the Kev, I know you mentioned about the clothes and whatnot. Honestly, here's my take. I have no problem with wearing t-shirts. That is what I do when I go on the road. I have on a t-shirt, I have on a jeans, I have on a comfortable working up shoes because I don't like heels and all of those things. I'm not a glamour puss. So for me,
But it's not a stretch out t-shirt, right? It's not a stretch out t-shirt though.
no, it's not a stretch of
Oh,
t-shirt.
okay, okay.
That's my style. But here's how I've upped that. I've basically transitioned that style to being because I'm a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a sole trader. And a freelancer, all of those wonderful categories. I don't even use the word freelancer anymore because I have to elevate my thoughts a little bit higher than that because I'm a business. So what I do, I have branded t-shirts. So I get my t-shirts made with my name on it, and my branding on it. So I am good to go because when I'm on the road, people are looking at my t-shirt and asking, "Oh, okay, that's neat," and they ask questions. That's a nice opener for a conversation as well. So don't necessarily say if you love your t-shirts and your jeans, we're not saying throwing them out, but try to think of ways you can repurpose that for yourself. So instead of just having a regular t-shirt, maybe it has a graphic that says something about you that might open up a conversation for someone to ask,
Yeah, man.
who did that? What is that about? And do that. I also carry a little container with my cards. So get business cards and keep little cards with you. All if I'm going to the supermarket, I slip my cards in
Right,
my back pocket because there's often enough there's a conversation
right.
to have with someone. I can hand you a card, right? So things like that are ways in which you can use to sell yourself. And as I said earlier, keep a line in your head, have a mirror, talk
Yeah,
to
man.
yourself as much as you want, and have an introductory sentence or statement, something that sums up who you are. If you can't say who you are in like a sentence, you have a little bit of a problem. So
Yeah,
try and create an idea of what you are, who you are, find out what is it that you want to focus on. It doesn't have to be permanent. This can change later on as soon as your skills and
right.
things have. But right now, you need a one-liner that you can say. There's an elevator speech thing that I've always known about. Whenever you have like a couple seconds and 30 seconds to introduce yourself. So you need to say who you are and what you do in a very short and quick time. More often than not, you don't get an opportunity to have a long-winded conversation with someone.
Mm,
Passing by quickly, you have to exactly elevator pitch. You're walking by quickly. You need to be able to say who you are and what you do. Right.
yeah.
So that is my 2 cents on that.
Excellent point, right? And I want to just reiterate your point that because somebody did ask what if you dress alternatively, and here's the thing, Selena, it honestly doesn't matter how you dress in terms of what you put on style wise, because even if you're a shorts and slippers person, make sure it's a shorts and slippers that look presentable. It's all about looking presentable. So if you're the type of person who you don't like single colored pants, you want a pants that one side purple and one side yellow, no problem. As long as you make that your consistent theme. If you like wearing a spider hat on your head, no problem. Make it your theme. Make sure that when every time people see the lady with the spider on her head, we know that it's Selena, and it becomes your personality, right? What I'm really talking about when I say look at how you dress is put thought into your dress. Don't just go and say, let me just grab this old tired shirt and this tired shorts and whatever and go a road. Right? Dress how you want to dress, but dress properly. And I give you an example. I have a friend who wait, he's a business partner of mine and in film, and sometimes when we go places I have to say to him, you need to dress better than that. And I'm not saying to him don't wear shorts. He loves to wear shorts. I'm not saying to him don't wear shorts, but it's obvious that these are yard shorts. These are not road shorts, right? And it's obvious these slippers have seen better years. And you know, other things that I don't really want to get into. And when we go on the road, I said to him, say, all right, I know you want to wear shorts, but you must have a better shorts than that. You know, on a cargo shorts. Him say, yes. I said, put it on. You have any sneakers? Because I know you like to wear sneakers. I'm not telling you to wear gentleman clothes, but put on a decent, clean pair of sneakers. And he'll put that on a polo shirt, and it makes a world of difference. He's still dressing like himself.
And guys,
But
you have to remember that, or and just not to cut you, but you have to remember that our environment is different than international markets. Designers overseas, nobody when you look, there's a theme that says you look arty by the way them can just look
yeah,
on you and
Um,
exactly.
know that clearly you're a creative individual, and
can I
immediately
take
you get
that
that
point?
respect. Right, immediately you get that respect as being a creative individual because you just have this look. Out
Um,
here in this wonderful land of Jamaica, for me to go see a client, there's some clients who not gonna see me unless me in a one three-piece suit and all of these things with stockings and heels and right. You have to remember that our society is extremely judgmental, and
Mhm,
they see you before they see your work, right?
mhm,
Even if you, and then worse, if you don't have a piece of paper to say you have a degree in it, that makes it even worse. It's even harder to have a conversation with someone. So don't give them something else to distract
right.
from you who you are. So
Yeah.
sometimes you have to appease the crowd, right? We're not
Yeah.
saying to hide who you are, we're not saying to kill your style, but if you're going to have something like for me, as I said, for me, I just so you know, guys, I homeschool, right? And I have my business as well. So when I on the road traveling up and down, I have my child with me as well. And then I realized that I can't just dress anyway because every day I'm representing my business. And there are times I meet persons and we'll have a conversation, and then I feel a little bit uncomfortable. Like, geez, probably should have they put on a proper t-shirt today. So I'm just saying it is best to have
Right.
supporting Kevin. Just have a little thought. There's nothing wrong with having a style because I know see man people who own them business and them walking in a shorts and one loafers and one shirts and them going to office. Them own the business. Them free to do whatever them
Right.
want.
Exactly.
I own my business. I'm free to do whatever I want. But at the same time, I don't have a building backing me. I have me
Right.
backing me. So I have to represent myself as strong as possible because people have a natural fear of freelancers out here. Them naturally fear down, know, naturally
Yeah.
feel say not gonna screw them over. So and we have that to battle with. So you have to
Right.
take that into consideration when you approach anybody and when you're thinking yourself as a business. You have that battle to fight, and it's not your fault, but you have that battle to fight. So think yourself as a
Yeah.
business at
Right.
all times, even if you have one client, even if you have one computer that if you pull it out of the wall, it not gonna work. You have- think yourself as a business at all times. So even when you just go to the supermarket for grab one beer and go back home, still think of the possibility that someone passing you
Yeah.
is going to might consider you for something, and you don't know
Yes.
who is who. And our country works on not just it's not just qualifications, it's who you know or who know you. So you have to remember that and think along that lines. It's hard sometimes, and I know creatives have this thing when they don't like when nobody tell them nothing, but you have to step out of that space until you decide to migrate to a wonderful country that will see you looking like crap and be like, oh, that's a designer, and you get the respect it deserves.
I would like that point. No,
Right.
no,
Right.
no, no. There is a look for creatives in the international community, and it's not crap. I'm going to that. On that note,
Yeah, but you
the
get my
point,
point.
yeah, but you covered all of my points. What I wanted to talk about was consistency. So when I was coming back to Jamaica, I had to find a way to indicate that I'm a creative conservatively.
Oh, and I'm gonna ask you to accelerate on the point because I want to get to the
Yeah.
alternative tips.
So when I say conservatively, what I did was I got some round circular glasses that were gold and they stood out on my face. That was how you indicated. But what I mean about consistency is you have an avatar that represents yourself online. This is what I did in terms of my marketing. My avatar also has these glasses. And this image that represents me is on all of the platforms on which I am on. The name is consistent. So even in terms of your business card, the name that you use on your business card for your business should be the name on your Instagram, should be the name on your business LinkedIn, should be the name basically everywhere. So that when people are looking for you, they're not looking for, let's say, blue artist over here, and then when you reach Instagram, it's artist of blue, and then when you reach Facebook, it's cerulean person or something. Keep your name consistent so that people can find you if they run into you on other areas, that they recognize you. That's all. That's my point.
Okay, cool. Right, so I want to get into some alternative things before we start to wrap up. And essentially, the reason why I decided to look at these alternative stuff is because the truth of the matter is you might do all of these six things. You might learn new skills, show them off, network, collaborate, package your skills, and go around the place and sell yourself, and you might still not get any work. Right? It's unlikely, but it's you never know. You might not get any work, especially because competition is going to increase. So, what do you do in the meantime? Because you need to make money, right? And I always look on it from the perspective of the skills that I've acquired. I've acquired them for a reason, and I want to do the work I want to do with these skills. But at the same time, I have a backup just in case things are slow, because all creatives will tell you you have slow periods and you have fast periods. You have periods when you're getting lots of work, and then you have periods when you're getting none at all. And you start to wonder, how am I going to cover these bills? And the key thing is, what I'm going to tell you are strategies, not exact things to do. It's more strategies, which is look for opportunities, right? What are the opportunities that are presenting themselves in front of you? Because right now, a lot of people can't go out to work. If they can't go out to work, money is slim and they can only afford the essential things. What can you do about that? Or even if they have disposable income, because they can't be in crowded places, a lot of things have moved online. We've seen where DJs have now moved their parties online. People are having parties online, and you wonder to yourself, how would that work? How are you going to get paid? But these parties online have gotten so popular that sponsors are jumping on board and sponsoring the online parties, because they realize that, wait, this DJ is having 60,000 people follow him on the party. That's 60,000 people we can market to. Let's pay this guy to keep partying. You have gyms that, because people are not coming to the gym, they're now offering training over YouTube. They're saying, hey, tune in every day at 2 o'clock for your aerobic session. Tune in every day at 6 o'clock for your kickboxing session, whatever the case is. And people get to work out at home. Um, Wait until these bikes pass. Yeah. So people pay their membership fee same way, but they can't go to the gym, so they work out at home in the safety of their homes. All right, and people are getting innovative like that. So you need to start looking for opportunities. For example, like, I know some of you don't. In fact, most of you don't watch the local news or read the local newspaper. But that's where you should be looking for opportunities. The Prime Minister just announced that persons 75 years old and older should not go outside. They should not be seen in public, right? And they're apparently going to try to enforce penalties for this. And the reason being is that COVID-19 affects older persons much worse than it affects younger people. It affects everybody, but it affects them much worse. And the truth of the matter is, if it gets worse, our hospitals are going to barely manage. So they're trying to mitigate it by just saying, yo, look, stay at home. So what does this mean for old people? How are they going to go to the supermarket, right? Some supermarkets are having special hours for older people, but suppose you can't go at that time, right? Who is going to go to the pharmacy and get the medication for them, right? And worse, if it's a pharmacy where you're picking up medication, that's like one of the worst places to go, being that people are usually going for medication when they're sick, right? And you don't want to do anything to immunocompromise. So perhaps you could use your art skills to create a flyer to advertise to these older persons that you're willing to go and pick up their prescription for them for a fee. You're willing to go and, shop for them, of course, if they trust you, naturally. But you probably know old people in your community who maybe their relatives don't live near to them, and can't afford to come and take them, get grocery shop for them all the while, or go to the pharmacy and get whatever, or whatever the case is. Look at the opportunities. Look at the fact that your church can't keep, right? But maybe your pastor still wants to communicate with the congregation. You know, you could write a letter or call your pastor and say, hey, if you want, I can help you hook up a live stream. Charging whatever to hook up a live stream so that all your congregation can log in into even something like this, any meeting, and attend church, right? Or if you want to do an Instagram live for them, etc. Basically, just look for, okay, who is this COVID thing affecting? How can I help? There are some people who they don't want to go out and buy food, but they don't want to cook either. So they want delivery, right? The delivery service is making a killing right now because nobody wants to leave them yard. They're afraid to leave them yard. They'll rather pay somebody to come drop the food off, them spray and sanitize the bag with the food in, and then go back in them yard and them eat them food. It's a service you could offer. And I know it steps outside of your skill set, but this is looking at desperate times and desperate measures. If you can't get an illustrator work, you can't get an animation work, what am I going to do? And I strongly advise that you use your skills along with what you're offering, simply because you still want to sell yourself. You always want to sell yourself. So when you design that nice flyer for the pastor and say, hey, meet us online at 6 p.m., blah, 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 right? And you set up the any meeting for the pastor because the pastor don't know nothing about these technical things, right? That is how you might have to start looking on things going forward. Try to figure out what, trust me, it might even be as simple as some people do need to buy them liquor. They can't go to the bar and drink, but they need to get them liquor. You do a liquor run, go to the supermarket, get it for them for a fee, etc. I don't know if anybody else has any tips that they want to share, but I'm just looking on it from the perspective of, if your skill's not earning your money, what are the other opportunities you can try to grab or even create?
Yeah, I support what you're saying. It and this time I'm always believing that you must have more than one thing. If you know me, you know already that I have a million and one things that I do
Mm,
differently, because I do believe in any given situation outside of the crisis, having more than one income just makes enough sense. So there are lots of apps out there. I know there are some of them a little bit limited in terms of, because they're better for overseas persons than we locally. But there are a number of little things that you can do to try and generate some form of income for yourself. And we'll say to keep that mindset over into when you have good regular times happening and you have a season of low. When you have a you have to know how to manage yourself to know that, all right, for every 3 months that you have a high in income, there's going to be that 2 months or 1 month where you're low, and then you have to switch to doing some alternatives. And as Kevin said, reach out, think of the skills that you already have now, get a piece of paper, write it down, all the skills, everything that you know you can do right now, that somehow you think, given the situation, there's going to be somebody who just don't know how to do it.
yep.
Right. So as Kevin said, contact your pastor to reach out to, even if it's not your pastor, even if you never go to people in church, you can
Yeah,
probably still reach
exactly.
out to them because and say, all right, I can bring my laptop to your church, I can come to your church every on a Sunday, or I can come to your house on a Sunday.
Hmm.
Um Sanitized, of course, and
Right,
set up a stream where you can probably do, or you can record some videos for them. It doesn't
right,
have to be high end quality. At this time, people just want to have access to certain
right.
information and content, so it doesn't have to be high end quality. You don't have to have a big old laptop that you can process how much gigabytes of data. So just think
Hmm.
small scale and try, and that's development for you. as well, so that you can
Right.
further develop your skills and be able to offer better prices or better quality later on.
Right. And I mean, the key thing is just look for opportunities. Even, for example, on the news, the farmers are complaining because guess what? Right now, even though we're not taking any imports from overseas, you would think this is the best time for farmers because farmers don't have any competition. But the hotels are closing down, so the farmers don't have no hotels to sell to, right? The supermarkets are, yes, the supermarkets are still, people still buying grocery, but even when you go to the supermarkets, the supermarket's not crowded anymore because people are pacing when they go, right? The people not going down to the market because the market's crowded and afraid of getting COVID. So the farmers are not getting to sell as much produce, right? So, you could even say to a local farmer or the lady in the neighborhood who grow and sell tomatoes or mangoes, or, even if somebody, a teacher who can't go to school and teach, if she wants to teach people online for extra classes, you could say, hey, I can create some flyers for you, or I can create your social media presence and help you with your social media presence for a cost so that you can get some clients to take these lettuce off your hands, or to get more students online, or to whatever it is that they are lacking. Just look at the fact, look on the opportunities that COVID has provided in terms of who is disadvantaged, how can I use my skills to solve a problem for them. Could I create an animation to advertise their business? Let me talk to them and work out something. Knowing that they might not have any money, you could even say, hey, here's how we can do it. If you're a teacher and no school now go on right now, you want to teach online, here's a platform that you can use. I can help you with. Um, I'll do the animation for you. However, let's sign this contract that says that for every student you get, I get 10% or 20% or whatever the case is. So you have this stream of income coming in. Right? Just look for opportunities. And opportunities just basically mean, is someone disadvantaged? If they're disadvantaged, can my skill help them? How can my skill help them? All right, let me draft even a one-page proposal and go and talk to them and see if we can strike some kind of partnership. And if you find 3 or 4 or 5 clients like that, you know, it's better than nothing. So those are all the tips. I don't know if anybody has any questions before I wrap things up.
Um,
It's getting
I
to
would
that
move
time.
on to the next slide and then we can take the
All right,
questions.
no problem. All right, cool. All right, so on the next slide, so I just wanted to congratulate Kamal Manboard. Kamal Manboard is one of our members. Been a member for years. He's an animator and just an artist in general. This guy does murals and character design and 3D modeling and animation and all kind of things. So he was shortlisted in a program called JAFTA Propeller. JAFTA is another organization similar to JANN, but it's specifically for film. It's Jamaica Film and Television Association. They have a program, a script to screen program, where essentially they accept treatments from persons, whether you're a writer or producer or director, or whatever the case is. And, it doesn't matter if you're professional or not. As long as you have a good idea, you submit it. They go through the submissions, and they choose, for the first round, they choose 10 submissions. From there, they go through another round of judging, and then it gets whittled down to 4. And then those 4 ideas will receive funding to create a short film that's about 10 to 15 minutes long. And this, just like what we want to do with our competition, is that they make these films travel, right? And by making the films travel, opportunities arise, etc. And Kamal was shortlisted in the top 10, which is a big deal because it's definitely not an easy program to get shortlisted for. The talent that submits to this thing is very, very high. Um, you know, so we definitely want to congratulate Kamal Manboard. And it's definitely going to be, from what I've heard from him, it's going to definitely be um, a ground groundbreaking film for Propeller, meaning he plans to include a lot of visual effects in it. That's not something you see very often in a Jamaican production. So we're wishing him all the best and hoping that he gets to the next round, because if he gets to the next round, it means that he's going to get to make his film. Right. So we want to congratulate him. For those of you who know him, you can reach out to him directly and congratulate him. For those of you who don't know him, you can go look him up on Instagram and Facebook and see the type of work he does. Right. But good job, Kamal. And for our next meeting is going to be April 25th. Um, well, will we even have a world then? We don't know. We will see.
Yes, we will.
But, but if we do, we'll be having a writing webinar. It will be about 2 to 3 hours long. And pretty much it is going to, like I had said earlier, it is going to basically tackle telling stories, story structure, character development, all the things, all the ingredients necessary to create a good story. And by then we will announce the date of our new competition. And I want to remind the persons who submitted for as in submitted and paid for the um the Reggae Month character design competition. You will move on to this competition free of cost, right? No matter what we're charging for it. So sharpen your skills and get ready for it. We will When we announce it, we will ensure that you know exactly down to the T what is required, and we'll have a template so you can look at the template if you're ever in any doubt. Right? I would strongly encourage you to submit to it, because as we said, even if you don't win, right, we are taking the top designs and putting them in a catalog, and that catalog is something that we're going to be using to show investors and showing producers overseas, right? And it's something that may lead to work. So don't just set yourself say, boy, I don't know if I have the skill to win. No, put your best effort out. You never know, you might be in that top 10. And who knows, if the artwork is really, really good, we might stretch it to a top 15 or top 20, because if it's good, why would we ignore it? Right? So look out for that. And I want to see you guys April 25th, same place, same time. Um, And don't forget to follow us on social media if you aren't already following us. We have a Facebook group, we have a Facebook page. The Facebook group, you can find us facebook.com/groups/animation.ja, or just type in Jamaica Animation Nation. The Facebook page, you can just type in JANN or look for Animation Jamaica. You'll find us. LinkedIn, we're there. YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, just look for @Animation Jamaica. You will find us. And of course, our email is info@animationjamaica.com. So, and share this with your friends. If you know an illustrator, you know an animator, share it with your friends. We're trying to build capacity. That's one of our key things. We're trying to build capacity, because the truth is, to get jobs to Jamaica, what animation studios overseas are looking for is studios with 100 or 200 illustrators, animators, writers, etc. So the more of us that meet that standard, the better the chances are for us to have jobs. Like literally, you can apply to a studio and work at the studio, as opposed to wondering, how am I going to find work? Anyway, moving on. Final tips: go wash your hands, cover your mouth when you cough, and draw. Draw a lot, people. And for God's sake, stop touching your face. One more thing. Our mantra here at JANN is opportunity favors the prepared. Hashtag OFTP. Right? So always remember that. If you don't remember anything else, remember that opportunity favors the prepared. So always keep drawing, always keep practicing, always update your portfolio, so that one day when you're in that supermarket and you and the person next to you cussing about the slow line, and then you say, hey, what do you do for a living? And you say, oh, well, I'm an animator. And they say, really? Send me your portfolio. You don't have to go home scrambling and going, oh God, what am I going to put in my portfolio? You're already prepared, right? So OFTP, people, take care. And well, Let me not say take care and keep safe because maybe people might have questions before I say take care and keep safe. Does anybody have any questions?
There have been questions.
Have. Let me stop sharing so I can see.
No, they did not submit them through the question. Oh, lies! They did. Okay, so will this upcoming webinar cover some essential character design tips for participants? The April 25th webinar.
Okay, hey Dale. All right, so the webinar on April 25th is not going to be focused on character design. It is going to be focused on story. The most that might happen is that we might talk about how story informs your character design, right? But what we're going to be doing is if you follow us not only on our website and on our website and our social media, we will constantly be putting out tips where character design is concerned. And we are going to be creating a webinar for character design specifically. But the reason why we want to target story first is because we realize that some persons, based on a submission, they were just coming up with a concept and not really thinking it through. So by focusing on the story, you can really zone in on, you know, what you want your character to look like. How do they fit into the world? Right? So we're not going to be going through those kind of tips in depth in the next webinar. Which international professional association would you recommend a 2D animator join? Okay, so that's a tricky one. International, so there's a CIFA, but a CIFA is broken up into several spaces. So there's a CIFA Hollywood, there's a CIFA South, there's a CIFA Global, there's a CIFA Caribbean, there's a CIFA Egypt. Generally, people that join a CIFA that's in their region. You can join other regions because I've been a part of a CIFA Hollywood before, and you get a lot of contacts through a CIFA Hollywood. And there are lots of other benefits. You get to you get to submit films to their awards, the Annie Awards, which is pretty much the Academy Awards for animation, essentially. You also get to vote on the animations. When I was a part of Asifa Hollywood, I was shocked when one day CDs turned up at my house, Blu-ray discs turned up at my house. I'm like, what the hell are these? And when I got the Blu-ray disc, it was of like the latest animation. I'm like, wait, but Red Turtle don't come out yet. Wait, thing there on the two strings don't keep on the two strings don't come out yet. Why am I getting these? And then huh?
You have Red Turtle?
Yeah, somewhere around the place. But literally when I got it, I was confused. I was like, why are these coming to me? And then like maybe like days later, I got an email from them saying, hey, you can vote on the films that we had sent in. I was like, wait, what? This is interesting. So there's a C for there's women in animation. Women in animation is a big one. So for women, if you're
I've been a part of that one.
so you can talk more about that one.
Yes, my animation teacher encouraged all of us to join it. Women in Animation has their own personalized job board. They tend to focus a lot of their activities on encouraging female participation. They have competitions, networking, and so on and so forth. In terms of joining them, they have a lot of opportunities and they're a very close-knit group, but you are required to be active. And active participants, you are required to participate in the meetings, whether you're doing it virtually or whether you're going to the meeting itself. They're very focused on participation and contribution. That's the other one. There is also SIGGRAPH.
Right, there's SIGGRAPH. But SIGGRAPH is more...
SIGGRAPH is more on the research side of animation. However, if you are more into the technical aspect of animation, for example, the software that was used in Klaus There was a detailed analysis of it by SIGGRAPH. So if you're more on the software side, you're more interested in the technical aspect of 2D animation, SIGGRAPH is a great place to be. It's good for networking. They have a lot of film competitions. They're divided by chapters. So you'll have Asia, United States. The United States has one for almost every state. And I believe SIGGRAPH is a subgroup of ACM.
Yeah. Let me see the next. What's the name of the freelance lady from earlier who homeschools? Janelle. That's Janelle.
Hi, Jay. My name is Janelle. So I'm Jan from Jan. Um, so hi.
All right. Let me see what's the next question now. From ideation to creation. Hashtag from ideation to creation. So Chevy is just sending that because she wants to say that we forgot to mention that aspect, that we are all about from ideation to creation. Right. That is our motto. Right. Or one of our, I shouldn't say motto. It's our vision. Right. Our mission. So, and all it basically means is that we want to take our ideas to completion. Because at the end of the day, I don't know if you guys saw the YouTube link. I could share it here, but there was a professional artist or animator who said that you need you need a product, not a project.
Oh,
And the
Jake
reason,
Parker.
yeah, and the reason why he was saying that is simply because projects are things that you could be working on forever and not getting anywhere with it, right? A project could be something that is ongoing. A project could be something that's experimental, etc. But at the end of the day, you need something complete, right? You need something that whether it be a short film or a web series or whatever the case is, you want something that you can point people to, right? People like complete things, meaning, for example, one of the things I remember saying to a friend of mine who he makes music, right? He builds rhythms and stuff and can't figure out why him can't get no work. He makes these really, really good rhythms and stuff. But I said to him that, you see, the problem is nobody's out there trying to buy a rhythm. What people are out there trying to do is them trying to get bus. They're a DJ and they want a bus. So they want a package. They want a producer who will get them recorded in the studio, get them a rhythm, get them a music video, and get them promoted. They want the end result, right? A DJ wants the end result. They don't want the ingredient. They don't want you to sell them a rhythm that they're going to go and try and make a song off of. And it's kind of the same thing is when when people are asking to see your portfolio, yes, it's nice that you have these 5-second clips here and there, 10-second clips here and there, but it's much more impressive and it says a lot more to them that you have a completed 3-minute short or you have a completed, web series. It tells them something completely different about you, that you can handle certain size projects, that you have end-to-end vision, right? Meaning that you're not just somebody who can just do a little sample work and that's it. They know that okay, you know how to take a project from the beginning to the end, and that's one of the major reasons why you see our uh, events for the year set up the way they are set up. Our events for the year are set up where you do character design, you do storyboarding, animatics, eventually an animation, because at the end of the day, we want you to have a final product that can be shopped around. Whether you're going to a film festival, whether you're going to a market like Kids Screen, with a catalog, you want something complete, right? Showing sketches alone is not going to do it. Showing concept art alone is not going to do it. Showing something complete is much more sellable, and that's is similar to like what I was saying earlier with Jafta. The aim at the end is to have a short film. It's not just to have a good idea, because it's hard to sell just ideas. It's much easier to sell a finished product. Is any meeting free right now? There, I think right now there. Well, let me make Janelle answer that question because she's more versed on any meeting than I am.
Hi Dale. All right. So the Anymeeting has been offering free access up to until the 2021. So you can set up any meeting. You can go on their website. It's I something in there. Anyway, just Google Anymeeting. It's a name. The brand is Anymeeting, but they're under a parent company. I can't remember the name of the parent company right now. So yeah, they have free meeting up to, you can have up to about 30, I think 30 or 30 participants with their free meetings section for the webinar. However, that is hell and powder house to get, because unless you have a US address and a US number, it's not going to process for the webinar section. You might have to call them in, which is what I had to do to set up our thing. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Cool. All right. I see we have no more questions. So
Is that it?
I think so.
No
Is
more
that it?
questions,
No more questions.
guys. Talk now or hold your peace until next month. Joking.
All right. So if there are no more questions, I just want to say to everybody that one of the things, and Dale, this might interest you, is that we are going to be pushing some monthly challenges. These monthly challenges are basically to kind of get people practicing and get their feet wet. These monthly challenges will be varied, and they'll take place on our social space, right?
Weekly,
All right.
Kevin.
So
Week.
Chevy is saying weekly challenges. So okay, fine. So Chevy, that sounds like you're responsible for setting that up. Anyway, yeah. So we're gonna have weekly challenges. Those challenges will vary from either.
No.
Anyway, don't worry. I like to do that to people whenever they throw something out there. I just like to just give them the responsibility and say, "All right, you own it since you came up with it." But anyway, really and truly, that is going to be organized between myself, Shireen, and Kim, event planner. But we're gonna have weekly challenges. The weekly challenges might be 2D characters, 3D models, um, and animation. We actually used to have challenges back in the day. And the truth of the matter is, like, a lot of people used to say, boy, the animation rough because it takes so long to produce an animation. That doing the animation weekly or monthly was too much. But the truth is, guys, we make time for what we want to make time for. A lot of times I teach animation as well, and a lot of times students tell me they don't have time to do this, they don't have time to do that. Yet they can tell me what happened in every single episode of Naruto, Boruto,
One Piece.
My Hero
Don't,
Academia,
don't
um,
forget
you know,
everything.
Jin Kama, all of these things. And I'm there saying, how do you find, hmm? What's
What was
that?
that?
I didn't hear that one.
Oh, I was saying One Piece.
One Piece,
Some people
and
tell me they rewatch One Piece.
right,
Guys, that's a lot of time.
a lot of time. Right? And the thing is that the truth is, if you have that much time to watch anime, you have more than enough time to animate. And the thing is, watching anime is not making you money, right? It's not like it's not like playing game that can actually make your money now. Watching anime don't make you money. I don't know if you can tell me where I can make money watching anime. Let me know, please, because I have lots of time on my hands to go and watch some anime and make money, right? But the
Yes,
fact
but do
is,
you want to be a reactor?
yeah,
Do you guys want to be reactors or you want to be animators? Because that's a different.
yeah, and I'm sure the reactors are is a crowded space as well. And if
Yeah.
anybody knows anything about YouTube's algorithms now, you ain't making no money, right? So unless you're
No,
getting
you're not.
some endorsed products, unless you're getting endorsed products. But the fact of the matter is, you can watch, you know, 3 less episodes per week of whatever anime and find time to animate. So yeah,
And when another thing, because I've heard this one too, that they're watching it as reference. Guys, when you're watching an animation as reference, I guarantee you don't make it to the end of the episode because most
right.
times you spend so much time rewatching that one part specifically,
Yeah,
analyzing what it's about and breaking it down so that you can figure out how it works. that you
Yeah,
don't get through the whole animation.
yeah. Because
So
like
it,
for
it
me, I was watching a fight scene, a Naruto fight scene, and I was on YouTube. I put it on the slowest speed, and I watched it over and over and over. When the fight scene done, I started over and watched it again in slow motion, and again and again. Right, and I was doing that with us. What do you call it? Star Wars, that 2D animated series, Clone Wars. Watching it over and over and trying to figure out Gendy
how did
Tartakovsky's
um
animation timing. Yeah, you
the
don't get to
most
the end of the episode.
you don't get to the end of it. My most recent one was, I don't know if you guys have seen Promare yet. However, there is a animated scene at the beginning of Promare. It's just 10 seconds. I haven't hit the full 10 seconds yet. I'm still in the first 5 seconds of analyzing why did they make this decision? Why that camera angle? Why those colors? Why does the design look this way? So
But pretty much we're going to be pushing these challenges again, simply because that's what makes you get better. And not only that, it helps you to not only know the level that you are at, but it helps you to know where you need to improve to, because you will see better animators than you, and you'll be like, okay, the next time I want to I want to beat that guy, so I'm going to try even harder the next time. And by the end of the year, you'll see how great you get. For those of you who don't know about 11 Second Club, it's a website that's been going on for years. I think from I can't even remember how long ago, but 11 Second Club, they post an
yeah,
11-second audio clip every month, the beginning of every month, and you have till the end of the month to animate to that clip. And the animation style is up to you. You can use 3D models that you find free online. You can draw it from scratch using your own 2D characters. You can do it from scratch using your own 3D models, whatever you want to use. But at the end of the day, you have to animate the facial expressions, the lips, the body language, etc. to this 11-second clip, and they crown a winner every month. And then, of course, the highlights, editors' picks, and so on. So there's, what's this? Did you like today's? Oh, okay. Right. So yeah. So look out for the challenges. We'll put them on both Facebook and Instagram, because I know some of you don't do Facebook. More you are Instagram type persons. Um, I doubt this fits into a TikTok space, but we'll examine TikTok and see if something like this can work on a
boy,
TikTok space. But for now,
I
Instagram
might
and
have to need to
Facebook.
show off people, because
Yes, what happened?
I
Why are
don't
you
think
looking at
that
me
works
like
for TikTok.
why did I mention
Boy, Kevin, if we're going into TikTok, I
that?
want
I'm
a
just
video
saying.
of you trying to figure out TikTok. I want a video.
No, I actually love TikTok, but TikTok is a wormhole. Like you start watching TikTok and then time pass and you don't realize how much time passing, and you have to physically remove yourself from TikTok. But yeah. Any which way, guys, thank you for joining us for 2.5 hours. It was lovely communicating with you. Again, to those who submitted, thank you for submitting, and congratulations on finishing your piece. Yes, I know it's unfortunate we didn't crown a winner, but I hope you understand why now. And we will have another character design competition, to make it up. And remember that you once you submitted and you paid, you will have free entry to that next competition. And remember, your work gets to go into our catalog. That catalog is stuff that we are going to be bringing overseas with us when we go to markets. It's going to be with us when we talk to local and regional investors. And we're going to be promoting you on our website, because at the end of the day, what we want not only for the industry to grow, because it's important for us to have a thriving industry, but we want you to make a living from what you do, right? We really want you to make the type of living where mommy doesn't have to say to you, go and get a real job, right? What you do is a real job, right? So just make sure you take part in the future competitions and workshops and everything that we
About
have to offer,
resources that we will be posting.
and the resources that we will be posting. All right, guys. So
Um,
If there are no other questions, I'm going to call it a day. Let me just look and quickly make sure there are no other questions.
No other questions, but there's a comment by Alric that, let's see. My
Okay,
thing
so
is,
go ahead.
yeah. Oh, my thing is, if you want to animate somebody's character or improve it through animation, you need the permission of the designer. Oh, Chevy already said this. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, let me see what else. Yes, Pinterest is a black hole. I don't know, I'm not seeing Sherry's response to that, to his
It's
question.
above. It's above.
Oh, okay, so both. Yeah, the other thing I was going to say is that, Alaric, there are what do you call it? There are actually people online who offer free resources. So, and I can tell you how you can find them. Like you can Google it, like you can say free Toon Boom rig or free Blender rig or free Maya rig, and there are lots
Actually,
of
11
people.
offers their own free resources as well.
Yes, 11 Second Club offers their own free resources as well. And,
Mm.
and sometimes when you watch YouTube videos, like there are several people who do Toon Boom tutorials and they use the same asset. And usually in the description below, they'll tell you you can download it for free and do what you want to it.
In
So there
terms
are,
of open resources, you might want to look at ArtStation for that. Many times they have open resource challenges.
there you
But
go.
be aware that many of these are sponsored, and so the competitions tend to be very restricted in the type of entries that they're looking for.
Right. So there are options, Alric. You don't have to use, your own design. What we're gonna do is when it's an animation challenge, we will
Okay.
make it free in terms of what you want. Because I'll give you an example. One of my students, I was looking through his portfolio and I saw this lovely animated piece, and I was like, wait, this is not your style. Did you do this? And he said, oh, he only did the animation. He downloaded the assets from a tutorial that he saw on YouTube and he animated it, right? So, um, yeah, when we're looking at animation, we're going to be looking at animation. When we're looking at character design, then we're looking at character design. Oh, thanks for coming, Diane. All
Bye
right, so
bye.
guys, we're gonna wrap up now. It's 3:31. I'm sure people are hungry. So I've said all I have to say. Shireen, if you want to say any parting words, please go ahead.
Eat food, stay healthy. Bye.
Bye
And
bye,
I hear
guys.
nothing. Does that mean I've been cut off? Oh,
No, you're still
No, you're
there.
still
all
there.
right. Bye,
We're
guys.
still looking at
Bye
you.
bye.